Hello, my name is Joseph Mergel, and my product for Canadian export to the United States is aquaponics. There's a problem in modern agriculture. When fields are sprayed with chemical fertilizer or pesticides, they are taken away by rainfall, polluting our waterways and damaging our environment. So what is the solution for this? Aquaponics. I'll explain what this is in a second. But just to clarify, I know this isn't a world-changing farming technique, and it isn't the only solution to pollution, but it is a small step that we can take. Before we get into details, what exactly is aquaponics? Well, it is a combination of aquaculture, which is fish farming, and hydroponics, which is growing plants on water, into a circulated water recycled system. It is a very new type of organic farming where both fish and plants are harvested and sold as produce. Hundreds and sometimes even thousands of fish are housed in large tanks with the correct feed and water conditions in accordance to each species. But how do the fish and plants work together, you might ask? Well, first, the fish waste and uneaten food are pumped out to the fish tanks into a biological filter where the ammonia, NH3, is converted into nitrites, then further into nitrates, NO3. This is done by the microbes living inside the filter. The now nutrient-rich water is pumped along the grow beds where the plants are being raised. The nutrient-rich water is then pumped along the grow bed. The plants absorb the nitrates as a source of food essential to their growth and development. Once the nitrates are absorbed, the now purified water is pumped away from the plants and back into the fish tanks. The water that is used in the previous cycle will be continually used in the future cycles. A common top of water may be necessary due to loss through evaporation. Although this process is very successful, certain fish and plants perform much better in the controlled environment than others. For example, common fish used in aquaponics are tilapia, trout, bass, and perch. This is due to the species' hardiness and adaptability to a range of water conditions as well as consumer demand. Leafy greens like cabbage, kale, and spinach grow best in aquaponics due to their low nutrient requirements and short roots. Plants like corn and turnips have been prone to rotting. The organic food market is the fastest growing agricultural sector in North America, being worth over $45 billion as of 2016. Unfortunately, it is only worth about $1.5 billion in Canada. Therefore, aquaponic produce as an export is a very realistic possibility in the rapidly expanding market. The produce will apply to both vegetarians and meat eaters, as well as both Americans and Canadians. As you can see from this pie chart, the United States contributes to 47% of the world's organic foods, compared to Canada's 4%. With the organic market increasing by so much, this percent is no doubt going to be higher over the next few years. The companies that would be interested in aquaponic products would be organic food grocery stores like Whole Foods, as well as regular grocery stores with organic sections like Tops or Safeway. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, as well as the Ontario and Canadian government, would be involved in regulating and exporting the product. The organic sector of the USDA would oversee the importing for the states. Canada has the potential for extreme benefit from aquaponics. First, it will increase export relations with the United States within their fastest growing agricultural sector, along with increasing Canadian agriculture and organic market. Aquaponics can also help the Canadian environment since it uses about 1/10 of the water compared to traditional farming, no soil, no chemicals used, and no water wasted. Therefore, there is no toxic runoff. Since aquaponic farms are operated within greenhouses, they can be placed essentially anywhere. This gives rise to the opportunity for placing these farms in small rural communities and Aboriginal areas in order to provide an increase in jobs and tourism to these regions. There are many possible jobs that require a range of different experience and education on aquaponic farms. Potential jobs would include janitorial, maintenance, growers and harvesters, fish caretakers, packaging and shipping coordinators, managers, and truck drivers, just to name a few. Tours of the facility could be done for educational and tourism purposes, along with an on-site store that provides locals with fresh produce as well as a desirable attraction to tourists. In summary, aquaponics as an export benefits Canada, the United States, the environment, and the consumer. It requires no soil, uses 1/10 of the water, and causes zero toxic runoff into our waterways. It can provide both jobs and tourism when farms are placed in small rural communities and Aboriginal areas. Although, as of right now, it can only be done with specific plants and fish and has a large initial cost, it is a very possible export that we may see in the near future. It is not a world-changing technique, but it is another step we can take towards the right direction.